Hey everyone, welcome back to another Tic Tac Taiko and the last video for 2025. I wanted to talk about a skill that a lot of good dancers have, a lot of good martial artists have, but most good Taiko players don't, and yet many great Taiko players do. And that skill is body awareness. Now, before I get into body awareness, last time I gotta do this year. If you like this channel, if you like these videos, if you have nothing better to do, why not go ahead and hit the like button? It helps the engagement of this channel, the algorithm likes it, and it makes you a better person. Plus, if you haven't subscribed yet, why not do that now? So what is body awareness? Well, simply speaking, it's the ability to know what your body is doing, where it is at any given moment without having to see it. This is a skill that most Taiko players don't even think about or are aware of, but almost every martial artist and dancer is practicing it from day one because it's a core component of their art. But Taiko players, we have to juggle a lot of other things from day one. We have to stay on tempo, sometimes keeping the tempo. We have our technique to think about, and there's all kinds of projection of energy and ki. So body awareness goes way, way down on that totem pole, sometimes not even on it at all. For me personally, body awareness is a hugely important skill. When I started with San Jose Taiko, when I was auditioning to make it in the group, I had no musical background to speak of. I definitely didn't have any percussion background. I had a martial art background. So I was able to take comments like, oh, move your arm here, or put your body here. And I could repeat that over and over much more easily than someone without that skill. And I have a really strong suspicion that was one of the main factors that I got into the group. Without body awareness, probably wouldn't have ever gotten into Taiko at all. So what does this look like in terms of Taiko? Let me adopt a pose that you'll see very common in Naname playing. Naname being the slant stand. Normally the slant stand would be here, but I don't need a Taiko to demonstrate. The front arm is pointed towards the audience, parallel to the floor. The back arm is at about a 45-degree angle, somewhere around here. My weight is shifted forward with the knee bent in front. I might hold this pose anywhere from 1 second to up to 10 or more, depending on what I'm doing. Maybe it's a solo, maybe it's a song. But this is a very common pose and variations thereof. If I'm looking at the audience, I don't need body awareness for this arm. With my peripheral vision, I can see what's going on. But what about this arm back here? Even if I look this way, I can barely see what's going on. Around here, I have an idea, and once I start moving past here, I've lost the shape completely. It was back here originally. Now, if I have a mirror to look at, great, but the odds are I'm not playing while looking in a mirror. Even if I'm practicing, I'm looking in the direction of the imagined audience. And if I'm performing, I definitely want to look at the audience. It's rare that I'm playing Naname and looking back here. So how do I know what's going on? Body awareness. At a very basic level of body awareness, I might know if this feels familiar or not. It's either yes or no. I may not know how to fix it, but that feels right or not quite. The next level up of body awareness lets me start to play with the variables to make it more or less familiar. So maybe my shoulder is too high or too low. Maybe I'm on the right horizontal or vertical planes. Maybe my elbow is too bent or not bent enough. Maybe my wrist is bent or turned. Maybe the bachi is pointing in the wrong direction and I want it along the arm. I may not know exactly what's going on, but now I can get closer to what should feel familiar. And another level of body awareness is then getting to the spot I want while moving there. Because, you might be surprised to hear this, but Taiko players don't just magically appear in our pose. No, we move there. Sometimes it's very simple, very linear. And sometimes it happens with a wind-up or something circular. So while I'm moving, I have to know if I'm getting closer or further away from what might feel familiar, and I don't have all the time to get there. I need to get there in one motion. So on the movement, I need to be getting closer and closer to familiar. That takes, again, more and more, higher and higher levels of body awareness. But here's the thing, actually, two things. This is one pose in a song. How many other poses are there? All right, I might be in all kinds of other positions that I need to hit, not just memorizing this one. So it's not good enough just to go, I have this one, I have this one, I have this one. I need to learn the skill that makes this one just as easy as any of the other ones that I might be in. But the other thing throws a lot more complication into it. So yes, I don't have to worry about this arm. And yes, I'm focused on this arm, but that's just 2 limbs. There's a lot more body than just these 2 limbs. For example, what about my lower body? The feet. Are my toes pointed in the right direction for the stance I want to be in? It's easy to start in one position, but once you start playing, things move. What about the knees? When I bend my knees, are they bending towards the toes so that I have good ergonomics? What about the pelvic floor? Is it tilted? Is it back? Is it forward? Because over time, this can do some damage. What about my posture? Am I upright or am I leaning in a direction? Are my shoulders hunched in or is my chest open? This is something that directly affects every single strike, good or bad. What about my head and my neck? Am I tilted? Am I bent in a certain way? This doesn't affect technique as much, but it can directly affect your performance, your projection of energy. And all of these things are happening at the same time, or the awareness is happening at the same time while you're playing, let alone while you're moving. It's one thing to only be here and think about what's going on, great. But what about changing your position? Everything changes. Going to the other side, everything changes. Going back, everything changes. And then can you get to here? That's a lot. But that's the higher and higher levels of body awareness. So great, you know what body awareness is, but I don't know that I've convinced anyone to want to improve on the skill. There's a really, really big selling point though. Body awareness leads directly to confidence. And confidence is a skill that a lot of taiko players struggle with. Most taiko players don't come into the art with a movement background, a musical background, or a performance background. And so to be on stage, to be observed, to be scrutinized, even in practice, is something that's very difficult for a lot of taiko players. And I see over and over again, people playing and their eye focus is all over the place, or their body language is very insular. They almost don't want to be seen, and that affects every aspect of that performance. But confidence is that skill that a lot of people have asked me directly, and I've overheard conversations. How do I get more confident? How do I learn confidence? Where does confidence come from? And the most common answer is you just keep doing it. Fake it till you make it. I've said that too. But body awareness is a shortcut to get to confidence. And I'll tell you how. Imagine that you don't ever have to focus on what's happening back here because you know and you feel that it's right or wrong, and you make it right every single time. You're more and more consistent because you have this body awareness skill, and you can focus all the energy that used to be back here into over here, whatever it is you want to be doing. That feels good. And that feeling good translates directly to confidence. Or imagine you're trying to hit the same pose with the group, whatever that pose is, doesn't matter. And you know that you're hitting it every single time. You've proven it on video, and you can look down the line, and eventually you don't even have to look. You know that feels good. And that good feeling comes to confidence. When you feel confident, not just is it a great feeling, but all that energy, all that worry just goes away, and you can transfer it and put it where you want, which usually comes into technique, timing, and performance. And if that's not good enough reason to practice body awareness, I don't know what's going to convince you. Let's assume I've convinced you to practice more body awareness, or maybe you're just at least a little more curious than you were before watching this video. How do you learn it? Well, there are several ways you can improve body awareness. One of the easiest ways is to use a mirror. Maybe you have mirrors at your studio during practice, great. Or maybe you have a mirror at home you can use, great. At the studio, you may not have a lot of opportunities to look at yourself and match up and learn this over time. So find a spot on the mirror which matches the position you want your arm to be in. Doesn't matter where your arm and what pose and what stance, but find some of those landmarks and repeatedly go after them. This just takes intention and practice. But you can do this at home on your own time. You can find that spot and hold that spot and look at a mirror. Close your eyes. Try to feel what this is like. Where are you stretched? Where's your body? Where are there tension points? And reset. Eyes still closed. Hit that spot. Try to mimic that feeling and then look and go, a little bit more this way. And identify, oh, I can feel this muscle. This feels different here and here. That's one way to work on it. And again, one position out of many, doesn't really matter. You're practicing the skill for one position that benefits all positions. I also recommend painter's tape for a few reasons. You put a piece down on the floor and it will inform your feet where they are and where you want them to be. For example, there's a piece over here. I've put pieces down when I know that I tend to inch forward as I play. So as I'm playing Taiko, say on naname, and I'm moving, eventually I'll feel it on my toes and I know to scoot back. And I can do this without having to constantly look as I'm playing. I'm getting sensory perception from different parts of my body. Body awareness. And you can put these pieces of tape anywhere if they're going to benefit you. Inside, outside, rear of the foot, the other foot, both feet. Especially good if you're trying to reinforce a stance or a position from the drum. It's also good if you're trying to think about how to move into a position. So if I'm on this side of the drum and I'm trying to do something where I spin and turn, oh, I'm too far and I can feel it. So again, I don't have to constantly look. I can get to a point where eventually I adjust. I'm learning body awareness by using tape. And again, reason I like painter's tape is because it comes off of everything very easily and generally is really, really easy to see. The other way is one I recommend highly. It's being aware of the things you do almost every day, or at least very often, that you probably don't think twice about. So what I want to do is ask you some questions. I want you to try to answer them before doing them. So for example, if I said, I throw a ball, which hand do you catch with? I want you to sit there and think about what the answer is. Oh, I think it's my left hand. Then if you want, go through the motions. But don't go through the motions first. Think about it first. Make sense? Okay, here are the questions. When you're getting up from a seated position, what do your feet do? Does one foot move back and you push off of that? Does one foot move forward and you push off of the other foot? Or do the feet remain parallel and you push off evenly? And does this change depending on the kind of seat you're in? If you bend down to tie your shoes, which is the knee you bend first before you tie them on? Imagine you're standing in a neutral position and you hear someone call your name from behind you. Which direction do you turn? To the right? To the left? And how do you turn? Do you move one of the feet forward to turn around? Or do you move one of the feet back to turn around? If you're going up a set of stairs, which foot goes first? If you're going down a set of stairs, which foot goes first? Is it the same foot? And the last set of questions are all about clapping. How do you clap? Not how does a person clap. How do you, specifically you, clap? Do you have your fingers pointed out? Is one hand higher than the other? Or do you have your hands crossed? Which hand's on top? Do you clap palm to palm, fingers to palm, or fingers to fingers? Do you cup your hands? If so, both or just one? When you clap, does one hand do most of the work? Or are they pretty even? These are the kind of questions that you should be asking yourself for a lot of the things you do normally. And then once you figure out what the answer is, do it a different way. Put your shoes on by kneeling the other knee. Step up on the stairs by stepping with the other foot. Turn around the other way. These are small things and it's gonna feel awkward, but they're such small things that it's not like you can't do them. For example, if you normally turn to the left, try turning to the right. You're not gonna fall down. You're just gonna be more aware and it's gonna feel weird. You're building awareness. Then you can start choosing what to do. That building awareness through mundane tasks translates to building awareness in Taiko. Now, I don't expect anyone to put body awareness higher on the priority list than, say, technique or timing, but I am hoping that it comes up from the bottom of the depths, maybe up a little bit higher, maybe a lot higher. It's one of those things that I've never seen anyone teach a workshop about or really even talk about. Most people learn body awareness through osmosis, just doing. And yeah, you get better at body awareness by just doing, but until it becomes an intentional practice, you're quickly hitting a ceiling, and sometimes you don't get much better or you can't perceive any improvement. Practicing body awareness intentionally through non-Taiko things or through Taiko things will make you a better player. And here's the thing. Here's the sort of the secret I didn't talk about at first. For those of you who stuck around till the end of the video, I'm talking about these big motions and landing big poses and big body parts. But when you've learned it on the bigger parts, it's easy to translate to the small parts, and it does affect your technique. You make these small adjustments without having to think about it. And then you take it another level by then thinking about it and improving on it. It just goes and goes and goes. But it's got to start with the easy things, the things that are easy to notice and easy to adjust. So thank you for watching this channel. It's been a great year. I've had a lot of fun. I've taught a lot of workshops. I've got some really cool things happening next year, but I don't want to jinx it by talking about it yet. And until next time, keep on practicing and be well.